This sends a terrifying message to the rest of the NHL as the Vancouver Canucks extend Brock Boeser on a multi-year deal, keeping him in Vancouver as Patrik Allvin and Jim Rutherford continue to go into July 1st, bringing back key players. We have so much to break down in this episode of Brock Boeser. Major reports going as far as saying he took less money to stay here and so much more. You're not going to want to miss any of this, Canucks fans. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 7,700 watchings, we want to give a huge shout out for supporting us over the past 2 years going into our second free agency. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go down and hit it. It's completely free, and we'll keep you up to date on everything to do around this team in this offseason going into next year. But with that, let's just hop straight into it because I know everyone clicked on this for a reason, and as we can see, as of today, Patrik Allvin announces the Vancouver Canucks extend Brock Boeser on a 7-year contract, $7.25 million AAV. This contract's looking incredible. We can see the reports coming out that he never wanted to leave. He was hurt how things were handled at deadline, but he followed his heart to stay in Vancouver when the team circled back. Huge move for the team, resigning his own players who want to stay. We've seen it with Garland. We've seen it with Demko. We're seeing it with Boeser. They kept Petey. They're building something special. The rest of the NHL is getting terrified to see this Canucks team get back into full force. Griffin, just going into, what is your thoughts on this extension for Brock Boeser, which is keeping him in Vancouver for the rest of his career?
This is the happiest day of being a Canucks fan in the past few years, for me at least, because we expected him to be gone. But like we talked about it just an hour ago, that all right, we just got to anticipate when he's going to be leaving. And then out of nowhere, we get our guy back. If you guys have been watching the channel long enough, you know that this is my favorite Vancouver Canuck player that we have. I was really kind of prepping to see him go, and I was getting very depressed thinking about it. But seeing all these highlights and knowing that he's going to be in Vancouver for another 7 years, I did my little happy dance. I've been having a smile on my face for the past 45 minutes or ever since it was announced. I cannot be happier as a Vancouver Canucks fan. I was saying to somebody the other day that if by some miracle we can somehow keep Brock Boeser, I will be just as happy as if we won the Stanley Cup. And well, it happened. I got my Stanley Cup today. Now we have to just go out and get the real one, get Brock Boeser for the next couple of years. The specifics of it that we're going to hop into, I loved it. I love what I heard from it. So we'll get into that in a second. But overall, I could not be happier as a Vancouver Canucks fan. And all I can say is, let's go.
And I mean, the big thing is, we know Boeser. We've seen the talks. They were continuing on. It went down to the wire. They finally bring him back. And we're getting reports that he left money on the table to stay in Vancouver. This is a winger market, a forward market where there's not a lot of great options. Down the middle, Suter, who we will touch on very slightly in this video, is someone that's a top center. We see the top wingers in Ehlers and Boeser. Going in to see what Ehlers signs for. When he does sign, it's going to show how much Brock really left on the table with this team, what he could have got in the open market. But the biggest thing is Brock Boeser is staying. Yes, a bit of a down year. The entire Canucks team had a down year, but a 40 goal scorer, someone that can carry this team. You've seen in the intro video how good he's been in the playoffs. Yes, you need a healthy Brock, but Brock Boeser, when healthy, is a prolific goal scorer. Some of the Vancouver Canucks fans we have seen locking him up on this deal. It gets even better when we get into the lineup, and we're going to look on that shortly. But the big thing with the Canucks, as the cap raises, as you can see in 27-28, the cap percentage is going to be 6.4. This number is going to continue to drop as the cap rises. This deal at the moment, yes, $7 million is a lot of money. Not for Brock because he is worth it. But year after year, when this percentage drops, this could look like a steal of a contract. The NHL is terrified that the Vancouver Canucks are able to do this. I mean, looking at the contract with this team, Griffin, do you think, in your opinion, because in my opinion, yes, this is going to age into one of the better contracts in the National Hockey League?
Absolutely. And it sounds even better hearing you say all these details because it just makes this deal that much better. Because not only did he leave money on the table to stay in the city that he loves and that has embraced him on and off the ice, he is loved so much by this community, but also making the biggest noise in the NHL so far today, taking a pay cut and staying in Vancouver. We knew that money was never the problem with Brock Boeser. It was always term. He wants this to be his last contract that he signs. I guarantee you he is going to retire with this contract. It was just a matter of Vancouver needing to know that, okay, we can trust you to play for that much longer. You're 28 years old. It's going to be a bit older by the time you're done that contract. But when you look at the value that he brings to this team. 40 goal scorer, but also last year it was a down year and he was still a top 3 scorer on this team. So really he was always been one of our top goal scorers. And I have said it once, I will say it again. Brock Boeser is the most clutch player that we have on this team, especially when you look at that Nashville game where he scored the hat trick and carried us to victory. And if you put him on another team, especially in the Western Conference, that is a huge problem. And especially with some of the reports that were coming out saying that Edmonton was potentially in on him. If you were to have gone there, play with McDavid and Draisaitl on a pay cut, that would have been an absolute nightmare to deal with 4 times a year. So thankfully we avoid that and we keep Boeser in Vancouver for 7 more years. And like you said, he is worth every damn penny.
And I mean, the big thing is Allvin and Jim get a lot of hate. A lot of the things they do, yes, they deserve it. But they're doing tidy work. They're keeping their guys within this roster, bringing in names like Evander Kane. They're trying to build this team back with some cap compilations, but they're still making a very good roster. They have young forwards. They made multiple moves yesterday, extending key players today, bringing Brock back. This team is slowly getting back into contention. They're a team that last year obviously failed to make the playoffs, but they're slowly getting this into a point where they're going to be a playoff team again. We're seeing the percentages raise on this team. And I mean, looking at the top 6, this is a very good top 6. Yes, there's a big question mark around Filip Hronek. They brought in Evander Kane to add this new rough and tough style hockey who scored 20 goals. Looking at this, Griffin, yes, they still need to look at the top 6. They need to look at his center on this line. Hronek can still do it. We've seen how productive he was. We've seen how good he is at driving a line. But how much more comfortable do you feel with this top 6 now that Brock is signed?
Oh, I got a massive weight off my shoulder, brother. It is huge. I know Pius Suter is probably going to be gone as a result of it, but I don't care. Give me Brock Boeser over Suter any day. Because if we had lost Brock Boeser, especially to a really good team, our top 6 would not be looking at all competitive. And even with just keeping Boeser, even if you have Hedl there, which yes, Pius Suter is a great 2 center. He could be a 1C on any other team. But on this team, Brock Boeser is way more valuable to your top 6. And your top 6 looks a lot stronger with Boeser there rather than to Suter. So yeah, I think the Canucks could still make a move. There's still the trade deadline. It's still a first day of free agency. I know the Canucks don't have that much money to move around. We could see potentially a trade. Who knows at some point down the line when the season starts. It still is a very much a waiting period to see how Filip Hronek does early on in the regular season. So if anything, the Canucks will probably make an upgrade mid-season at that spot. But I think right now they're probably feeling pretty comfortable. And now it's just a matter of, all right, how are these guys going to mesh? Who's going to be the perfect matchup? Because these are still early projections. But I can't wait to see how these lines look as the regular season gets underway next year.
Because a lot of people are going to panic. They're going to say the Canucks need to trade for this. They need to trade for that. But we know with this brass that they don't like to do out of season trades. We've seen Sidorov was midseason. Lindholm was towards the deadline. We've seen Casey DeSmith was a early season trade. This team and this company likes to go out the management group to acquire these players late. Now listen, yes, there's going to be casualties. Pius Suter, shout out to Scotiastat for this projection as well, has them projected at $3.5 million as well. It does seem with him and Mikael Granlund as the best options at center that he's going to head on to a new team. But Canucks fans, this is the biggest thing. Brock Boeser has returned. We know how good, how much respect Brock has within this community. They're building something. They're building a winning culture. Allvin, and I was very wrong when I said he took shots at them with Demko's extension, with Garland's. This is something building. The NHL is getting terrified of the Canucks. But Canucks fans, what is your thoughts on this? How excited are you to see 7 more seasons of Brock Boeser? Go ahead and leave a comment down below. What do you want them to do next? What is your thoughts on their first day in a free agency with Garland, Demko, Boeser? There's so much more. Go ahead and leave comments on all of this down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back with a lot more videos today, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Griffin, and take care.